Hey, good morning, everybody, here at Bitcoin Say What?
Bitcoin Say What?
Boom. Good morning, Brenda. How are you today?
Great. We're here today to talk about the mining of Bitcoin. Is it to mine or not to mine? And Mark and I are also going to talk about, are you scared to buy Bitcoin as a newbie or thinking about getting into the market? So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, what's your, a lot of people are kind of, they're interested, but they're a little nervous. So, everybody comes at this at a different point. So I'm going to get into our first article here.
And we're going to talk about the background, as we always do while Mark takes his time pulling up the article. Behind us is a beautiful scene of America from Sedona, Arizona, because we love to focus on how beautiful America is. And behind Mark, we have an oil refinery, because we're going to talk about that and how it relates to the mining of Bitcoin and the environmentally friendly aspect of Bitcoin.
Yep. Okay.
And our show, just so you guys know, if anybody's tuning in, we're here to focus on new people considering getting into Bitcoin. And we're just here to bring some news just to kind of educate you along the way. So go ahead. How's Texas?
All right, I'm going to get into this. And okay, here we go. How Texas is becoming a mecca for Bitcoin miners. Access to unique power sources and friendly regulations are driving Bitcoin mining companies to set up shop in Texas. All right, I'll give you a quick overview of the article here. Texas might seem like an unlikely mecca for large-scale Bitcoin mining operations, although energy prices in Texas are relatively cheap. With a big draw for miners, the state's reserve margins are almost non-existent, as was demonstrated by the storm that happened earlier this year. I'm going to kind of ad-lib that a little bit. When it comes to cryptocurrency mining, it's hard to know exactly who's located where and what exactly they're mining, but there's lots of anecdotal evidence that a significant Bitcoin industry move to Texas is afoot. Bitcoin mining companies like Bitmain, BlockCap, Argo Blockchain, Great American Mining, Layer 1, Compute North, Riot Blockchain, and Windstone are just a few of the major industry players that have chosen to set up shop in the Lone Star State.
And hey, can I just interject?
Go right ahead.
Crypto's not going to be here. Look at all these companies that are.
No. There's no.
Crypto's going away. It's a fad.
Going away.
Holy cow, there's a ton of mining companies just setting shop there. Holy moly. Go ahead.
Just in Texas alone. Okay. So, where we go. So compared to many states, Texas energy rates are inexpensive. I just bit my tongue. That's always fun right in the middle of time to talk. A few states are slightly cheaper, not here in Illinois. Okay. Meredith Angwin, author of Shorting the Grid, told Great American Mining's Marty Bent in a recent Gamcast interview that Texas was the skinniest of reserve margins when it comes to energy supply, is borne out in the recent ice storm. So they don't have a lot of excess capacity. So it's obviously,
from what I read last night, because I know we were going to be talking about this, that the mining industry is not going to be on their energy grid. So some of the argument is, oh, well, they couldn't even handle the ice storm that happened a couple of months ago. So why are we even considering doing this to Bitcoin? From what I read, it is not going to be on the supply, the energy grid. So we can research some of that more, but I think that's an argument that people say, and it's not even a valid argument because it's not. I'll do more research on that, and maybe we can do it.
Absolutely, and I think that here's where
break that down. Go ahead.
Here's where I'll just kind of get into this last two quick lines here. Angwin also noted that renewables like wind and solar are only available when it's sunny or windy and have to be backed up by natural gas. But it's the nature of Bitcoin mining that miners seek out extreme cheap sources of energy, which tend to be stranded renewables or fossil fuels like natural gas and oil via flaring or venting that would otherwise be wasted, as said Bent in a recent podcast. Now, what that is, so when you dig up oil out of the ground, okay, natural gas is a component of this. I actually listened to Marty Bent talk about this. This is I find this stuff fascinating because I love efficiency. So essentially what they're doing is they're building these little, for lack of like almost like little sheds, like miners. And what they'll do is they'll put it, they'll take the shed, put it on the property where the
Yep.
oil is being drilled, and the natural byproduct is the gas. So what they have to do is burn the natural gas off. They just flare it. They just get rid of it because they have no use for it because there's no money in it for them.
Yep.
So what they do is they take that, convert it, put a generator in place, and then run these miners. How freaking more efficient can you get?
Exactly. And they're saying that it's inefficient. Hey, we want to welcome into the show our friend, I believe from, I'm real bad about names, but our friend from our Sunday night Zoom call got robbed.
I did. Oh, hey, Rob.
Yep. He's on and he says, boom, good morning, Bitcoin. Say what? Waste
right.
runoff is a great use powering mining farms. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to, that's all my article is going to say, but I had a thought. I know this is, you may not laugh, but I think it's funny. So, you know how they're like saying, you know, methane gas is one of those things that are, you know, ruining the ozone. So I say we figure out how to put something on the backside of a cow, because they were saying cow flatulence were ruining the world. I say we put something on the backside of a cow and then figure out how to convert that over to mine Bitcoin.
And then we can present it to AOC. Then we can present that to AOC. And then we can go boom.
I'm telling you,
maybe that gentleman who is in our Twitter feed for the cattle farms. The cattle farms that they're trying to do.
Oh yeah, untapped growth.
Yes, maybe we can talk to him about that.
Yeah, I mean, because you know what, I just had a thought too. I'm sorry, when I get rolling, I get rolling. So you know how we have like these dumps in the area where they dump all our garbage, and they have the pipes in the ground, and they burn. You would think that maybe there's a way to cap that. Also, that gas that comes off of these landfills.
I'm telling you, you and I have some really good ideas as we're talking this out.
Hey,
we've come up with pretty good ideas.
I'm all about making money and saving the earth and being efficient. All right, babe, it's up to you. It's your turn.
I'm gonna go talk one and share one here, and maybe you can mention Rob and talk about Rob real quick while I'm pulling this up.
Rob's on the road probably. Are you
on the road, Rob? He is our buddy from our crypto Zoom chat, and we talk every Sunday night. Okay, so we're going to be talking here about Frisco Natural Gas Driller turns to Bitcoin mining to burn excess fuel. Silver Energy bought a crypto mining rig and is powering it with flared natural gas at a site outside of Brooks, Alberta in Canada. Cool. Bitcoin is turning the heads of energy companies, including a Frisco firm that's mining a skyrocketing cryptocurrency by using excess gas at drilling sites. Oil and gas driller Silver Energy is among dozens of companies turning to mobile cryptocurrency mining units. These are mobile, keep that in mind, that need large energy amounts of energy to perform the complex data center operations needed to create new cryptocurrency units through mining. So this is just something to show that I don't want to read the whole article because I feel like you guys are intelligent enough to go pull this up once we show it to you. But they're mobile units, and they're doing this at these oil refineries to kind of cap the excess energy and to make it more energy efficient and to use it. And so these, they're mobile units. I mean, it's fabulous. Yeah, Rod said he just landed in Arizona. Nice. Beautiful Arizona. Look at it. And I shared Arizona.
Yeah.
Sedona for you, Rod.
I don't know how close Holbrook. Let's see. No, Pat in the hot.
I don't think you're Pat using hot air.
Hey, listen, you're talking to people that are from Chicago. They don't call it the Windy City because it's windy here.
That's true. From Everybody thinks that's why they call it, because it's windy here, but it's not. It's for political reasons why they say that. So, maybe we could cap Chicago. We could just cap Chicago.
All the politics. Yeah, right. If all the crap that comes out of their mouths.
All right, I'm going to share one other thing, and then we're going to talk about a segue. Here we go. So now we have New York. A bill in New York aims to halt Bitcoin mining for 3 years until its environmental impact can be assessed. Oh, no. Okay. Another reason.
Hold on. By the time 3 years comes around, dear, nobody's going to want to go there.
Well, right. And I was just saying, maybe just another reason to consider to be putting a for sale sign in your front yard. A bill in New York seeks to halt mining Bitcoin for 3 years until it assesses its environmental impact. It would specifically look into greenhouse gas emissions caused by Bitcoin mining. If passed, it will affect a growing Bitcoin mining industry in upstate New York. So from what I read on the article, again, pull this article up, read it yourself. They were saying that some people are speculating that if they pass this, that if you run even something in a business warehouse, let's say 10 rigs, because you're running it at your office. Like we used to own a shop, we would have tons of room and it was cool in there.
Yeah.
To run a bunch of rigs if we had the money to do it. And or some people are even running 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 out of their home. We could, our basement's so freezing. And so they're saying that they're wondering if officials are going to start coming into people's homes or businesses and saying, you're using excess electricity. We need to make sure you're not mining rigs in here. Crazy. I mean, I know it's speculation.
You're paying for it. I mean, you're paying for the electricity. Who cares?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we're not wasting energy anywhere else in this country. Just
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Just it's crazy. But then here we have on the converse. I'm sharing this screen here. Miami mayor wants city to become Bitcoin mining hub. The mayor would love Miami to become a Bitcoin mining hub to harness the city's nuclear power capacity. The Miami mayor, Francis Suarez, says the city should become a clean energy Bitcoin mining hub. The mayor said in an interview that part of Bitcoin's mining problem is that its reputation as a dirty activity because 90% of it is done in countries that have dirty energy. He said he would love for Miami to become the Bitcoin mining hub to harness the city's nuclear power capability, a clean energy supply that essentially is unlimited. So here we go. We have one state saying, oh, we're going to try to put through some legislation to ban it for 3 years. And then the next thing we have is a state saying, not a state, city mayor saying it's clean energy because he understands it. And so where do you want to hang your hat at? Where do you want to lay your head at the end of the night? What state do you want to live in? It's just something to consider. So we just want to kind of show you like what some states are saying. We got Texas and Florida, positive Bitcoin mining. They understand that. And then we have another state that's saying, oh, I don't know, it might be, dirty and it's bad for the environment. So
yeah, and the thing is this. Yeah, right.
you got to, okay, so you're reading it. And so kind of recap what you're reading there. New York is afraid, Rob said, New York is afraid that Bitcoin mining will interfere with money printing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What kind of energy does that take? Seriously. I mean, just that alone. And, you got to mine the material for coins. You got to source the paper. You got to get the ink. All that. Stop and think about it.
I actually have an article that I don't have here, but I was going to, like I said, I've got some research I want to do. Maybe we can do a whole show on it. And it did talk about the printing of, not necessarily printing of money, but it talked about what the banking system, I think it was Bitcoin Magazine did an article, huge article about the other types of things in the economy and what energy they use and just how much the banking system uses. So I'm going to read that article and then maybe we can do a show just on that. So
yeah. And I think Michael Saylor kind of talks about the whole, as fiat currency goes, what it takes to keep kind of like the gold supply. You got to have a military to protect it. It takes money to transfer it. That means energy. Anything you do that requires movement requires energy. So
right.
let me go to my last article here, and then we'll get back to you, and then we'll kind of wrap this rascal up here this morning.
Yep, because we want to talk about something else that we wanted to kind of
yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I am going. Oh, here's one. I always find these ones fun. All right. This one is Bitcoin stocks crashed after Janet Yellen makes statements about. Okay, did that come up, dear?
Yeah, but we got the 1 weekly email change, so get rid of that.
Get rid of that. Okay. I don't know how that came in there. Okay, real quick. I didn't even hear this yesterday till I read the article. Usually I kind of pick it up as I'm going along during the day. Janet Yellen talked about a potential rise in U.S. interest rates, and a quick panic episode dumped the global markets, Bitcoin included. I always find when you start reading articles, you start to have to read, you have to parse out every word because, to be honest with you, talked about a potential.
They're like YouTube titles.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Oh my gosh, it's dying, and then you read, and then you watch the video, and you're like, oh, it's nothing. So
you read the headline. Okay, the headline's like, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. Interest rates are rising. Okay, so I'm going to quick say a brief panic episode. That could be my morning. Following a statement by Janet Yellen caused the markets to close the day with red candles all over the place. In a video conference with The Atlantic, another nice rag there, Janet Yellen, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, who has nothing really probably to do with interest rates, signaled that Joe Biden's administration may be aiming to raise interest rates as the way to save the economy after the imbalance caused by measures to combat the coronavirus pandemic. Okay, so we're going to rise interest rates after we keep printing all this money. I don't understand what they don't even know what they're doing. It just basically states that, interest rates slow down going to slow things down. Jerome Powell about a month ago said that they don't see, and he's the guy that's running the Fed, that said basically, we're not raising rates till 2023 or whatever. So now all of a sudden they're signaling that they're going to, it's just double talk. After a while, it's like, nobody listens anymore, because honestly, when you sit and you do listen to them, they're talking out of both sides of their mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. And we got reminded in the comment section, we got to watch what we say, because, we are on a special channel that we have to watch what we say. So we'll talk in code. So I do have more to share, but Mark and I did want to talk about today for all the newbies that are watching us, because our show is focused on trying to be kind of a big arm shoulder for new people trying to come into the Bitcoin crypto market. Mark and I are new to crypto for about a year now, and we want to talk about the people, because anybody that we talk to, every time we talk to somebody about crypto, it seems like everybody's heard about it. Someone has told them to get into it, but they're scared to get into it because they either just don't know how to go on board onto like Coinbase or something, but more so just like, oh gosh, I don't know if it's worth it or not, or I'm afraid I'm going to lose the money. And I just talked to someone yesterday, and I was just saying, have you heard about it? And the gal said to me, yeah, 3 people have told me to get into crypto. And I go, then why don't you? And she's like, I don't know. And I said, give me a call if you're interested, and I can, walk you through the process. It's quite simple, but I can totally help you get through it. Yeah. I think people are just afraid. And I said, you don't have to go buy a whole Bitcoin. You just have to buy, $10.
Sliver.
$20, whatever. You don't have to put 500 even if you don't want to, and then get used to the volatility. So it's okay to be nervous about it, but I don't think that it's something you should be afraid of. I think that, nobody seems to mind buying stocks, and we all think that, well, our mom and dad did it, our grandparents did it, so stocks are okay. And so I just want everybody to consider setting up a Coinbase if that's going to be the exchange you want to go on. Get used to that, get ahead of the rush that's going to come in the next year or two. Do your, it's called KYC, get your information on one of the exchanges so that you can connect your accounts with your bank so you can buy, get used to buying it. So that way, when you want to go and buy more of it, you can. There's also an app, I think it's called Swanbit, and you can dollar cost average in every paycheck. Yeah. And that's something that's real cool. So someone who doesn't have a lot of money, they can just put, $10, $20, $50 a paycheck and then not think about it. And then it just happens automatically.
Yeah. So yeah. I think you have to, dip your toe in the water. Kind of like we did. We just kind of dipped our toe in, and then we just got comfortable. It can be a little lengthier process than you understand. So I try to manage people's expectations. It does take a little bit of time if you start to kind of level up a little bit. It's not just a simple, hey, I take from here, go to there. It's a little bit more involved, but to be honest with you, it wasn't that big of a deal. It just sometimes it takes maybe a little bit more time. Right. But as we're starting to see, you're going to start seeing where companies are going to start making this process even easier.
Right. But then also on the converse, this isn't going away. Companies, pension funds are all getting into this. We belong to a network of individuals that are starting their own crypto adoption businesses just to help people on board, because we all know it's coming to, across the globe, but especially to the US. And that's how we met Rob. He's in our comment section. Great group of people. And,
all over the country. They're
all over the country, great people, and meet some great group of friends. There's meetups to go to. Now you have to be careful because sometimes you go to these meetups and there's scammers there. So you just can't, everybody that you meet think that everybody is Honest Abe. And so you do have to be careful with anything. You just wouldn't go on a date with somebody off of a Tinder or something and not think that possibly it could be something, kind of scammy. And so you do have to be careful even in the crypto world. But great group of people that we've met. And I think that it's something that everybody should consider. So reach out to us. If you guys, anybody here needs some help onboarding onto crypto, we'd be glad to help.
Yeah,
I do want to share some more news if I have some time here, because we've got about 7 more minutes we want to go here. This is interesting. How do you pronounce that, Mark?
Sotheby's.
Sotheby's accepting Bitcoin for Banksy. So just one other institution that is accepting that for the fine arts auction. That if you want to go ahead and purchase a piece of artwork, they take Bitcoin payments. And so the whole point of that is one, the adoption of them, but two, it's companies that wanted for you to pay in Bitcoins, and because they get a portion of that as part of their fee.
Yeah, they do a pretty good.
So that's a great way for them to scrap a little bit more Bitcoin off of every sale, and people want to be known like they paid in Bitcoin, because now it's going to be the news like, oh, this billionaire just bought this, because they want the accolades when they buy it, and then they can acquire a little bit more Bitcoin. So
yeah, it's an auction house, right?
It is, yeah.
They're in New York City, right? Yeah, we can have that in New York City, but don't have mine.
Yeah, what a joke.
I don't get it. To me, it's like whatever, just whatever.
Okay, so I had to share this because the other day we talked about this. So JP Morgan, here's FUD news. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon says he's still a crypto skeptic. I'm not a Bitcoin supporter. I have no interest in it. Although JP Morgan Chase will offer Bitcoin for their wealthy clients, not for us plebs, Jamie Dimon still isn't personally sold on the crypto. I'm not a Bitcoin supporter, he said. I don't care about Bitcoin. I have no interest in it. I just wanted to share that to you.
But he's got his money in it.
Right. His company is going to offer to their wealthy people, but he's not interested. So one, if I was someone like that, I'm not trying to give bad Bitcoin news because we're totally supporters of it, but it's just FUD. And if you read the title, you're like, oh, JP Morgan's against it. They're not against it. And I guarantee, well, I can't guarantee anything, but I'm just saying that don't always just read article titles and then think, and make your opinion from there. Do your research yourself. Yeah. Start educating that, understanding that titles for YouTube titles or just news titles are there to get an emotional response from you. And right now, Mark and I honestly believe that Bitcoin is underpriced. It's at a bargain basement price. Let me share my screen here. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Hang on. I love sharing TradingView. If you could notice that, I do this almost every day on the show.
You do.
Okay, so here it is.
It's a great tool, Brenda.
It's 55,200. All right, the MACD. Okay, the histogram below shows that it's now light green. So we didn't do a show yesterday. Okay, I admit I overslept. Sorry, doing this at 6:15 and being on at 6:15 can be hard sometimes. And so 2 days ago, I'm like, hey, Bitcoin's going to have a good day. And it did. And then the very next day, look at that red candle. I was like, boom. So it's below the zero line. And so we haven't been below the zero line on the MACD. And I think since Corona happened back in March, Bitcoin is at a bargain basement price as far as I'm concerned. And so any news that they can right now to shake people off, I think tomorrow or the day after that, we're going to do a whole special just on Dogecoin and just talk about, not because I want to promote it, because I'm not, Mark and I don't like Dogecoin because we think it's one of these coins. But I'm a child, but we're not a big fan of it, but just the more the fact of, why is it rising in price? Why is it they trying to get people to not pay attention to Bitcoin so that they can acquire more of it? And then all the plebs are buying some of these other coins. And then while you're looking over here, we're buying over here. Yeah. If anybody knows, I'm going to see if I can pull this up.
Well, this feels like, okay, and some of you youngsters out there won't recognize this because you were too young, but back in the mid to late '90s, before the collapse in I think it was late '99, the .com bubble. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was just like there were companies that had literally no earnings.
Rob, look at the little doji in the window, the one with the waggly tail. Now we're both showing our age because not only did I know what you meant, but I could sing the tune.
Yep. I was going there too, and you beat me.
That's a perfect one. I'm going to steal that one from you, but I will always give credit back.
Okay, so what's the difference? This is the doggy then, which was pets.com, to the doggy now.
Yeah.
Let's stop.
And we all know that this weekend, we all love Saturday Night Live. Used to, and Elon Musk is going to be on there, and I think Dogecoin right now might be 60 cents or close to 60 cents. I wouldn't doubt if after this weekend, and we know crypto's open 24/7, 365, and somehow it pumps almost up to $1 or
maybe not because nobody watches the show anymore.
Okay, so I just want to share this real quick, and then we're going to be getting off today. We're trying to keep it under 30 minutes to actually see if this is going to help us get more viewers, because it takes so long for these live streams to process, and so we're trying to get our show seen, because we really want to just help. It's not for us.
We went into halftime and we made adjustments to our game plan.
Yeah, and it's not because we want our channel to get recognized because, we think we're great or anything. We just really want, no, we don't.
No, I don't mean it that way.
We really want the average person just to understand that average people can get into crypto. Mark and I are average people, and you can learn from it and make a difference in your generational wealth in the next 10 to 15 years.
Yep.
All right, so I quick want to share this here. And I don't know if people understand this. I think this is cool. So there's this thing called Blockchain Explorer, blockchain.com/explorer, and you can look at a lot of things Bitcoin. And if you want to hear, you can look at this thing called latest transactions. And if you look over here, the amount, and you can see, because, the blockchain is transparent. So I'm going to try to click on one of these, and I don't know if it's going to show up after I stream this. I'm going to see if I can find one that's over $1 million. Or let's not even just click on any of them. Look at the amount of people that are buying right now. 700,000.
Is that live, Brenda? Is that
this is live right now. 254,000 of Bitcoin being purchased. Let's see what else.
Fun to watch.
It's over on this side over here. Now just watch the dollar amount. Last night we saw someone bought like 300 Bitcoin.
And you're like, oh, what's that? Like $1 million?
42,000 in Bitcoin. So if you think that nothing's getting scooped up here, some of this is $1.7 million, 31 Bitcoin.
Nice.
3.5 million, 64 Bitcoin.
Yep.
Okay, so everybody keep looking over at the little doggy in the window, like Rob said, and while we're over here acquiring it. So.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, Mark and I are going to head off.
Yep.
And end the stream. Thanks, Rob, for coming in. I'm glad that you're
Safe travels, Rob. Okay, I know there's crazy people on the road, so just take care of yourself, brother.
All right.
Ready to get out of here, dear? I got to go get some work.
Yes, send us off.
All right. Thanks again for joining us here at Crypto. Jeez Louise.
Do it again.
Bitcoin say what?
Bitcoin say what?
Otherwise known as crypto say what, according to Mark.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for coming in, Rob. Bye, Rob.